Hey, classmates and co-learners. Listen, I am very excited. Thank you all so much for your participation in the last installment. This installment is going to be a little bit different to the Resistance Classroom. This isn't necessarily about a topic where I'm giving you a bunch of resources, though I do think that probably as I end this video and we keep having conversations in the comments, you all will bring up resources that really support what I'm about to talk about. Um, Yesterday, Rachel Maddow did an exceptional block A of her show. She always does, but one thing that I love about Rachel Maddow is I think she is a spectacular storyteller. I really, really do. But she tells a story based off of an NPR breaking article. It is a whistleblower article, meaning that someone who is in the government is sounding the alarm about what's actually happening in real time that we are experiencing truly. Nobody calls it this, but we need to call a thing, that a coup is absolutely happening and from the inside out. Donald Trump erected a coup in the end of his term in 2020. It was a physical coup. It was violent. It was despicable, right? And it was unsuccessful. However, this go round, the coup is still happening and a new coup is happening, but nobody's really pushing or paying attention. Republican Congress people have completely acquiesced all forms of power uh, to the Trump administration by not holding them accountable, by normalizing this active coup that is happening. Well, who's doing the coup? Glad you asked. The Department of Government Efficiency, which is this fake department that the Trump administration uh, curated and crafted in order to help with wasteful spending within the government structure. All this has done is cause chaos. It's caused mass firings. It has caused major disruptions to services that people really need. And it has highly impacted people of color, marginalized groups, those who are poor, those who are in poverty. It's impacted children. So it's impacted all of these vulnerable groups. So it really has not been about government efficiency at all. It's just been about destroying the United States government. What's particularly important is this story that the NPR wrote and broke with this whistleblower was exceptionally chilling. I'm linking the article below. I need every person to read every last word. This article um, takes into the account of this particular government official who serves in IT. And I believe it's in the National Labor Department, somewhere in there. To my knowledge, this department is kind of an independent agency within the federal government. And this whistleblower is over the IT department in this space. The very chilling story that he tells, and not just, with his recounting of what happened, but hardcore evidence, right? So everything that he is saying, he has the actual evidence to support and back up. He goes into grave detail about the day that the Doge engineers came into the building with police basically taking over. Um, they requested that they get the highest clearance so they could get into the system to be able to monitor things. The problem with this is, as this whistleblower articulates, is when the Doge engineers go into the system. Now, keep in mind, this agency handles like labor allegations. So people who are breaking the law around labor, people who are being whistleblowers, they have their names are there, but normally they're redacted if it is an actual case going on or things of that nature. But people can report when a company is not abiding by the labor laws of our country. So he proceeds to say that um, what one of the things that I think is just baffling and highly alarming is that when these engineers go in, they um, pretty much enact this system or this type of software that allows their activity within the system not to be tracked. That is highly unusual, especially for government agencies. So that means for however long these engineers were in this system, we have absolutely no idea what they were doing. We have absolutely no idea really what they collected. There's no trace of their activity in the system. That's number one. Number two is while they were in the system, they turned off all safety measures within the system, meaning that it made the system exceptionally vulnerable to cyber attacks, that people could access it, right? There are barriers when these government agencies will set up within their own respective systems, basically protective walls around the information that is being housed in that respective agency. And so this IT whistleblower begins to give the great detail that when he went into the system, he noticed everything had been turned off. The other thing that's highly alarming is that within a few hours of the Doge engineers leaving, the IT whistleblower begins to say that immediately the IT team notices these login attempts that are happening, like 20 login attempts within 15 minutes of each other. And what he says is that the person who was trying to access the system had a Russian IP address. What's highly alarming is what they were able to discover is the person who was trying to access this account had the correct um, username and password. The only thing that was protecting the agency records from not being accessed from that entity is it was coming from Russia. The other thing that was highly alarming is the IT whistleblower stating that when they went into the system, they're able to see any information that has been extracted, right? So normally no information really gets extracted because the files that are in that particular agency stay within that agency. They don't move out of that. That's highly, highly rare that any type of very sensitive data or information would be extracted from the system. Well, on the day that the Doge engineers um, began their work, the IT team saw this huge spike in extraction. Now, remember, I just said they turned off anything, any way of you being able to track their activity within the system. But what we do know is there was a huge level of extraction of private data, um, highly sensitive data extracted. Also, when Doge engineers came out of the system, they did not turn those safety measures back on. So that means that opens that agency up in particular to potentially foreign adversaries, cyber attacks, and people with just our basic internet having access. This is highly problematic. Where this gets downright scary, though, the IT whistleblower and his team and others decided to curate this case and take it to another agency that investigates these type of things. However, as they submitted in that request for this, I forgot the name of the agency, but it is listed in the article, to do their investigation because they saw this huge extraction. There's these foreign adversaries trying to get access to the system, all of these things. The person who is the whistleblower, when he gets home, there is a note taped to his door. And in the note, it has very sensitive details about him. that only someone who has access to the system would ever know. Like, this is not public knowledge, not things he would put on social media, not things we could just randomly find about him out on the internet. Like, these are highly classified answers to questions, things about himself, all of that. And so this letter contains that. What's very chilling is not only was that in the letter, there were pictures of the whistleblower walking his dog in his neighborhood from overhead, which means that was drone footage, which means whoever was operating this drone or whoever is behind this or whoever's trying to scare him away pretty much probably has been following him and taking pictures and photos of him to intimidate him. What was incredible to me was that he was on Rachel's show last night, Rachel Maddow's show, and is standing 10 toes down and trying to sound the alarm. He said he was there with his attorney. What else came out last night is there are other people in other agencies who are absolutely seeing the same thing from after Doge engineers infiltrated their systems. We have absolutely no idea where this information is, where it got extracted to, who are the other players in this beyond the United States, because this is a significant breach of of our systems, of our government, and nobody's talking enough about this. I was stunned yesterday that Rachel was probably the only person who was talking about this story. Um, I don't know if we really have conceptualized how much shit we're in right now. So for this resistance classroom, I wanted to share this article with you. I'm going to see if I can find Rachel's segment with this whistleblower, and then I'll also link it in the comments below. But we need to talk about what coups look like. And what is actually happening in real time is this coup is taking over our government from the inside out with the president's signature and support, just like the last one was with his support. It will take years. And in some cases, some of the damage that is being done through this administration, I don't think can ever be rectified. In just less than 2 months, less than however many months it's been, but 3 months, maybe 2 or 3 months, our government is already destroyed. And our Congress is doing absolutely nothing. So I'm gonna drop some, maybe I think I'm gonna see if I can find like other resources around how coups have happened in history. But if you have some, I would love for you to drop them in the chat. If there is a documentary you think we should read. But January 6th was the start of the official takeover of the American government, and they are succeeding. I want this article to be read by every person. I am praying for that whistleblower's safety. He did not try to hide his identity. He put his full name out there, his face, all of that. And something fascinating that he said to Rachel last night was, he said, I'm hoping that by me being courageous enough to do this, that my colleagues who are absolutely terrified of coming forward with the awful and alarming things that they're seeing, that the American public needs to know, that Congress needs to know about, that I'm hoping that it will encourage them to be brave. I would love to hear your thoughts once you read the article. I would love to keep this conversation going. And again, if you got resources that kind of can give us some context historically around coups and how that they originated, how they started, and not just the physical coups, like the physical, what we saw January 6th, the physical force of trying to take over the government, but also how you can implode a government from the inside out. So if you have some resources, please drop those in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. But yeah, I would love to hear what you think and what you feel after you read this article. Brilliant reporting from NPR with what's happening. So that's this episode. Is a little different than the last one, but I just really want to promote what's happening as much as I can because I don't think we realize that we're already in authoritarianism already. People keep having the language, oh, we're almost an authoritative, you know, country. We're almost there. We're slipping into it. I don't think we're slipping into it. I think we're fully there now. So yeah, so I can't wait to see y'all and talk to you and bring the next topic into the resistance classroom. But this is scary. And yeah, so I can't wait to hear your feedback. Until next time, fam. Peace.